Hi guys, welcome to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Kyra, and here on this channel we're all about real makeup for real life and real people. So today's video is kind of the second in a mini series we're doing here on my channel this month. If you missed it, I will link it up in the cards and down in the description box below. But I did go ahead and shop my stash for all of my Natasha Denona palettes for the month of May. So last week I combined my mini Natasha Denona palettes, and today we're going to be combining the midis. And for reference, the ones that I have, very fingerprinted, I have the bronze palette, I have the Glam palette, and the ever hard to use Love palette. So what we're going to be doing today, I'm going to combine these three palettes to create one look, so I hope you will enjoy, and we better get into it. Alright, so I think the first shade I'm going to go into is this one here in the Glam palette. It's called Blend. Very exciting. And I really like this for a transition. It's probably the only shade in this palette that has a dip in it, because I do use it for most of the looks that involve the Glam palette. And I love the Glam palette. I really do. I love everything about it. It's kind of a staple neutral to cool palette in my collection, but if you're looking for kind of a similar vibe, but way less expensive and, you know, less choices, maybe a little bit more edited, so to speak, I really love the Colourpop That's Taupe palette as well. All right, I think for the crease, I'm gonna go into the bronze palette and pick up my favorite matte in the palette, which is Sun Tan. Beautiful sort of rosy terracotta shade. I love it for a crease shade. I've actually worn this quite a few times as a one shadow look. I also just feel like it's very complementary to my skin tone because of the warmth, but at the same time it has something that I really love, and that is like a rosy undertone. So I'm just kind of applying this on the outer part of the lid as well as up into the crease. I'm curious if you guys have any of these midi size palettes. If you do, which one's your favorite, or which one do you have? I am very, I don't know, uninspired by the new mid-size Zendo palette. I guess I just, as a collector of Natasha Denona palettes, I just feel like it's a lot of what I already have from Natasha Denona. At this point, I don't think I'm gonna pick it up, as beautiful as it is. I'd like to collect them all, but I also need to be reasonable and know that if I already have those shades, you know, one or the other palette's gonna get neglected if they're that similar. That is beautiful. I'm just going to briefly go back into the blend shade from Glam and blend those edges a little bit. But let me know down below if you guys are planning on picking up Zendo, or if you already have. What are your thoughts? I'm definitely looking forward to seeing some reviews and looks with it though. I can definitely get inspired from videos like that without having to purchase that palette. All right, next we're going to go into the Love palette. I don't know why I find this palette so hard to use. I don't know if it's lack of neutrals, because I can obviously reach into other palettes for those, but there's something about this palette that just throws me for a loop. So I'm gonna go into this shade right here called Heartbeat and use that on the very outer corner of my eye for sort of a deepening shade. And this is like a fluffy angled brush. So I'm kind of like stamping it on the outer part of the lid, and then I'm going to ever so slightly bring it up to the crease. And you guessed it, we're going to go back to the previous shade and blend this one out. I really like how this like berry burgundy is going with the suntan shade from the bronze palette. I will go back at some point and clean up the sides a little bit because I do think the shadow came down a little bit lower than what I had intended. Story of my life. Okay, going back into the bronze palette, I'm going to use this shade right here all over my lid. It's called Bliss. Very beautiful shade. One of my favorites in this palette. It's sort of like pink, but it's also got like goldish green sort of reflex to it. It's very interesting. So I'm going to put that all over the lid to start. Like to go in with my finger after applying with a brush and just punch up the shimmer a little bit. But I think applying with a brush really helps to avoid texture. I think the shade that I want to put a little bit in the center of the lid is this shade from the Glam palette. It's called Inner Corner. It's the first Inner Corner shade in the palette if your palette remains intact as it was when you purchased it. And I'm going to just lightly tap some of that in the center of the lid. And then we're going to go into one more shade from Love for the inner corner, I think. And then we'll worry about the lower lash line at that point. So I'm going to take this little teeny tiny shadow brush. I just want a little extra sparkle to the lid, especially along the upper lash line, because that is the part that shows the most when my eye is open. But I also don't want to completely cover up this pink duochrome, so hopefully you can see that little bit of difference. I can definitely say with 100% certainty, however, that my Love palette is my least used out of all of my Natasha Denona palettes. And like I said, it's not that I don't like the palette. I certainly do. I just, for whatever reason, when I look at it, my brain feels confused. All right, last shade we're gonna go into is from the Love palette. It's this shade right here called Transparent, and I just think it is the most beautiful inner corner highlight. It is somewhat transparent. It reminds me of my Nabla highlighter in the shade Privilege because it's just kind of a glossy look. I'm gonna highlight my little inner corner zit here. So if we're keeping track, we used two shades from the Love palette, Transparent and Heartbeat. From the Glam palette, we used two shades. We used Blend and Inner Corner. And from Bronze, we used two shades. We used Suntan and Bliss. So I'm actually going to take a little bit, woo! I'm going to take a little bit of Suntan on the lower lash line. I'm just going to use the same brush that I used for the inner corner, and I'm going to keep this as close to the lash line, I mean like practically in my waterline as possible, because I'm just really not into a heavy under eye lower lash line look these days. But when I'm wearing a heavy look like this, sometimes I do still do it. And today I feel like it's needed. That is a wrap. I'm gonna pop off of here really quickly, do some liner, mascara, a lip, the hair, and then I will come back and show you the completed look. All right, we are back, and this is the completed look. I really like how this one turned out. I wasn't for sure. It's really always hard to incorporate this darn Love palette. I love the shades in there. I just don't like them all together, I guess. Pink, purple, red, those aren't really my vibes. But I did finish off the look with my Wet n Wild Simma Brown Now eyeliner, and then in my lower inner rim, I have my Pixie Eye Bright Liner in Nude. For lashes, I used my Thrive Cosmetics Liquid Lash Extensions. Do you have trouble with this clumping? Let me know. For lips, Milani Understatement Lip Liner in the shade Nude Entrance. This is my second one. And the actual lip color is the NARS Velvet Matte Lip Pencil in the shade Dulce Vita. One of my favorite shades. It's just nice, you know what I mean? Kind of understated and natural and hopefully fitting for this look. Layered on a bit more blush, you know how that goes. But let me know down below, what do you think of this look combining my mid-size palettes from Natasha Denona? Of course, mixing my large Natasha Denona palettes will be coming up next. I do have 4 of them, and one of them, well, yeah, a couple of them are pretty colorful, so I'm hoping to do a more colorful look for the last one. So I hope you'll look forward to that. I know I am. Thank you so much for spending part of your day here with me today. If you've not yet subscribed to the channel, I hope you'll consider doing so before you leave. Then you'll be able to find the rest of my videos more easily on Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday when I upload. And with all of that said, I hope all of your makeup days are absolutely beautiful makeup days. Have a beautiful day today, and I will see you in my next video real soon.